Welcome back to This Week in Racing. Today we're talking about LMP2, the secondary prototype class in ACO regulations at Le Mans, the Asian Le Mans Series, and European Le Mans Series, as well as here in North America in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Today we're looking at the future plans of all four constructors, Oreca, Ligier, Dallara, and Multimatic, checking on the manufacturer's LMDH plans, as well as looking at their future LMP2 cars for 2024. And at the end of the video, we have our weekly news roundup. So, without further ado, let's talk about the future of the second-tier prototype. Starting off with the dominant chassis, all these cars share the same Gibson V8 engine, but the dominant chassis is the Oreca 07, which it was built as a follow-up to the boxier, in my opinion, cooler-looking 05 that was used from 2015 and 2016, which was Oreca's first closed-top prototype. The 07 just happened to fit the LMP2 regulations like a glove. So, since 2017, this car has won, I believe, every single P2 race. Maybe one or two. It hasn't won, but still, it has a very high win record. For the future, I am guessing that the nomenclature will continue and the new generation 2024 Oreca LMP2 car will be called the 09. I don't think there's much to improve on for this car because it's already great. The car is competitive within itself, like with other 07s. But something I'd love to see for the 2024 LMP2 regulations is BOP, because all these guys lingering at the back want to win as well. Moving on to the second, and in my opinion, favorite constructor for multiple reasons, Ligier Automotive and their JSP217. This car followed up the wildly successful JSP2 in 2017, just like the 07, just like all these cars. But the kicker for me, the aero, I love the headlights personally. Just the whole front end, and then it's right-hand drive. That's the automatic winner for me. But this car has been nerfed so badly. Ligier screwed up their Joker upgrade that they were allowed in the middle of this regs period. They didn't do it right. So now the car is stuck, uncompetitive, and this is another reason that supports my argument for BOP, supports every LMP2 fan's argument for BOP, because we want to see different looking cars winning every time. We don't want to see this weird, same triangle nose thing winning every single time, and that's really crucial. LMDH plans for this brand. Ligier has been contacted, according to Racer.com, by a mysterious manufacturer to build an LMDH car, so hopefully in the next few days that'll come out to see who that manufacturer is, and that'll be really interesting. Seeing that brands believe in multiple groups that can build their car the right way, make it competitive, and help it win, that is great for the sport of sports car racing going forward well into the next 10 years. Moving on to the third manufacturer, Dallara, and their P217. Don't get the Dallara and Ligier confused. The Ligier is JS P217. The Dallara is simply P217. 17 being the year of the regulations. Dallara, this is an interesting car. They screwed up the aero on this car. It looks cool. It looks so cool. But they screwed up the aero. It's the front area, the whole front section, the headlights, the fenders. It's way too boxy. It's fast in a straight line. The car, even in high downforce trim, has terrible handling. Again, all three of these cars, all three of the non-Orecas screwed up their Joker allowance and made their cars possibly run even worse than they did pre-2018. But the Dallara is very competitive in IMSA, as this car, the Cetilar 47 that competed last year in the Rolex 24 and then had a gearbox problem, but it's also been competitive as the Cadillac DPI. Future LMDH projects for this chassis include the BMW M LMDH and the Cadillac LMDH VR, which I will love to see how those turn out. Moving on to the sort of forgotten LMP2 car, the Riley Multimatic Mark 30. This car, I love this car. It's a shame that it only raced a few times, considering that Keating Motorsports raced it at Le Mans in 2017, which is the picture I put up here. BAR1, I don't even, if it's Bar 1 or BAR1, they raced it at Daytona. Visit Florida Racing raced it at Daytona, and then Rick Ware Racing was supposed to race it at Daytona and Le Mans. Then they didn't have enough drivers at Daytona, so they pulled out the car, and then they couldn't get to Le Mans because of COVID. This car, every single team that's run it has not been very well prepared. When this car ran the first time, it did not, it was like 10 seconds off the pace. The reason I chose this picture is because of the LMDH programs. The car behind it is a Porsche, and Multimatic is going to partner with Porsche for their LMDH program, along with Audi and pretty much every other Volkswagen brand under the sun. This car is probably the largest reason that LMP2, as a class globally, no matter what series it's in, no matter who's sanctioning it, it needs BOP. Because these cars that just roll off the truck and the team really doesn't know the cars, especially these new teams, so they can be on the same footing as everybody else. In conclusion, there are a lot of ways that the ACO can really fix LMP2 for the next set of regulations, but there's also the opportunity for them to do 2017 all over again and just nerf everybody else except for one chassis that they really, really like, but everyone else hates. So, I'm looking to the future optimistically. I hope the other manufacturers get a chance to win, and I also hope all the cars don't look the same. That's very important as well. As of the time I'm recording this, the Asian Le Mans series has recently wrapped up in Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina circuit. In my opinion, 4 very entertaining races. Hopefully they get back to a somewhat normal schedule next year, because 2 tracks and 4 races is kind of boring. And the season goes by kind of fast, so you can't really savor it. But here, I'm going to talk about the main headlines in all 3 classes. I'm not including the subclasses, because that's just too much work for a video that's already quite long. But anyway, let's get into the wrap-up of the 2022 Asian Le Mans Series. This also ties into my LMP2 thing, because the only non-Orica running anywhere in the world in LMP2 was in this class, and it was the number 44 ARC Bratislava Ligier. Speaking of LMP2, let's start off with that class. First off, we have LMP2. Taking a commanding championship win, was the only non-Pro-Am entry in the class, the number 4 Nielsen Racing Orica 07. This car took a commanding 4-lap win at both races in Dubai, but in Pro-Am, or the LMP2 AM as it's referenced in the Asian series, it was a tight battle between the high-class Orica and the Graf Racing Orica, with the ARC Bratislava Ligier mixing in a little bit too. But in the championship, Nielsen was taking a commanding lead after Dubai, with Graf leading Pro-Am. At Yas Marina, United Autosport joined the fray as the second non-Pro-Am entry in LMP2. The car was not eligible for points, but it took a commanding sweep of the weekend, with Nielsen finishing second in the first race there, clinching the championship for the number 4 car. Race 1 in Pro-Am went to the 39 Graf Racing car, driven by Eric Trullier, Sebastian Page, and David Drew. United won the second race overall, and in Pro-Am, the 39 took another win over the 44, driven by Niall Murston, John Corbett, and Mira Konopka, with Nielsen coming away with the championship. Moving on to LMP3, CD Sport and their Ligier took the overall title in P3, but it was a very, very mixed up finishing order for all four of these races. For race 1 in Dubai, the DKR Engineering Duquesne was running very well and was dominating until a mechanical problem put the two CD Sport cars out in front, with the number 3 car taking the win. The 3 car was driven by Mikkel Jensen, Nick Adcock, and Edward Kauhaupe. I think that's how you pronounce it. In race 2, Nielsen Racing doubled up with its LMP2 win by Colin Noble and Tony Wells taking the win in their Ligier JSP 320. Race 1 at Yas Marina is where DKR came back strong. A flawless run for the number 2 Nemo livery Duquesne, bringing it a win, but not in title contention. Moving on to race 2, the G-Drive by Graf number 26, which had a spectacular fire in race 1. The car was completely totaled, came back to win to close out its season in P3. But the championship went to CD Sport, earning them an automatic invite to Le Mans. The crew taking the honors being the number 27, Christophe Cresp, Antoine Duquin, and Stephen Paulette. Moving on to the majority of the field in GT, an incredibly diverse field of McLarens, Aston Martins, Porsches, Audis, and more. The championship winning car was the number 7 Inception Optimum Motorsport McLaren, driven by Brendan Arieb, Ollie Milroy, and Ben Barnicoat. Race 1 in Dubai, Inception took a dominating win over the 55 Rinaldi Racing Ferrari, but Rinaldi bounced back, winning race 2 in the class. Moving on to Abu Dhabi, Herberth Motorsport took a commanding win in the first race after the 99 car had a 3 minute and 45 second stop and hold penalty. The team car, the 91, however, took the victory, the 99 falling out of contention in the GT-AM class. Herberth followed it up the next day, though, in a formation finish with the 33 crossing the line right behind the 91. The 91 did not snag the title, though. The title went to the number 7 Inception McLaren in a hard-fought, very entertaining GT battle throughout the entire series. Inception gets a second auto invitation to Le Mans, as well as teaming up with Team Project 1 for a full-season World Endurance Championship campaign with Porsche. Well, that concludes the first This Week in Racing special episode. Tomorrow will be my normal racing roundup video. Thank you for listening about the future of LMP2 and reviewing the Asian Le Mans series. Like, subscribe, respond to the interactive comment down below, and as always, have an amazing day. Share with all the race fans in your life.